This podcast is not intended to usurp or undermine the authority of your spiritual leadership. Our aim is to support the spiritual growth of our listeners.
I'm curious, I want to hear from you guys, your thoughts on what we've been talking about. What's coming to your mind right now? What's going on in your spirit?
Well, I just keep kind of going back to a question you asked whenever you talked about, how do you feel like you deal with, how did you phrase it exactly?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
About whatever it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember however you phrased it, but I got to thinking about how whenever we were just married and I had started a new job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is the will of the Lord. This is, I think this is it. And then I went to work, and the first day was awful. I mean, terrible. We actually got kicked off the job site.
It's correct. I remember you telling me that.
Got kicked off.
The whole group got kicked off.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Our foreman did. It wasn't even anything I did. I just got caught in the crossfire. And that morning, I was really, really questioning, if I was even doing the right thing. And then, I was reading the Bible, and it talked about Gideon. It said, go forth, my mighty man of valor.
Yeah.
And then I had this awful day.
Yeah.
And then I got back to Sam's Club where I'd left my truck because I rid up there with another guy, and I locked my keys. I tried.
Just pile on.
So then I call her, and I'm just gonna be honest. I was crying at that point.
Yeah. Enough is enough.
It's like, you gotta bring me my keys and blah, blah, blah. She goes, well, I think maybe you need to go look over here at your past employer, because I know things were working out a lot better. And I don't know, since I've went there, I just feel at peace. And I feel like from my old leadership, they have now put people in charge that are, I just think the Lord put them in charge.
Yeah.
Really, to take care. I mean, we've got other people at the work, or here at church, that work there, but
Right.
I really think that, there was just a peace that came with that whenever I finally gave up, because I went to this new job for money and XYZ, and I was like, but I felt like in a way I was conning myself. I was like, well, I can, tithe more and
Right.
yada, yada, yada.
Oh, we can make up good reasons.
Yeah, I can make up good reasons.
We can. We can come up with some reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe not godly, but they sound godly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's kind of how I deal with it. I just go to the Lord and just hope. I don't know. I just have faith, I guess.
That's what you have to do.
I just have faith that He's going to provide.
And just like that situation, I mean, you get to this job that obviously was not really what He wanted for you. And your wife, of course, wasn't comfortable with it either. I know that because it's your conversation with me. But anyway, you get up there, and the Lord says, I'll show you. This is not where you belong. Bam, the whole group's kicked off the job. You didn't. It's almost like an angel came from heaven to say, "Here's your sign."
Yeah.
So He's pretty good at waking you up. Yeah. He is pretty good at waking you up. I've certainly had Him give me some signs when I was. I think there's a difference when you are belligerently being disobedient versus trying to do the will of God, but not clear on what the will of the Lord is. Yeah. I think there's mercy that comes there where He will help and give you a sign. You've missed me in this way. But if you are in rebellion, seeking your own will, you're going to get a different type God.
Yeah.
And He's going to come in with a different, He may let you go. Israel, you brought up Saul. He let Saul just go. Saul became a man who didn't know God.
Yeah.
Sadly. A man who, when he speaks to Samuel concerning God, says, "Your God, your God, your God." It appears that Saul had lost, if he ever had a relationship with God, and I'm not sure he did. When you read through his story, there's not a clue one way or the other.
True.
but his rebellion, his disobedience, we read in the text of Scripture, God literally says, I am sorry I ever made him king.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that is stunning words.
Yeah.
But it's because his heart was hard to rebel against God.
Yeah.
And so if you get a hard heart in rebellion, I think there's a place where God will say, do what you want to. You think you're all that smart, do what you want to.
Yeah.
But if your heart stays repentant and tender, I'm telling you, God will he'll keep you on the path.
Yeah.
His grace will keep working on you.
Yeah. Mackenzie, I feel like you have a story or something to add to all this. Maybe not a story, but something to add to all this.
It was probably back when we was trying to figure out, well, it was more me, like trying to figure out what church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before we got married. Because I felt like I was supposed to stay there. Like I had a ministry there. I was doing this. I was doing that. And then as Ashton and I talk, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm supposed to come up there. And I think a lot of it may have been for me, like who was speaking in my life at that point. And they was trying to make this pretty picture versus me being obedient and just following my husband to what I was supposed to do. And at first it was a lot of fear because I'm like, here I am moving almost an hour away from my parents. I've never lived anywhere else. I'm gonna have to find a new job because I'm not driving an hour. And I'm like, in a new church. And I'm like, I know maybe a handful of people there. And I'm like, so instantly it strikes fear in me.
Sure.
But then once we talk and then we meet with you and Sister King, then it felt like there was like a blanket of peace. And I hadn't felt that until we met that night.
That's amazing.
And it was scary. And I told him, I'm like, I don't want to just be ran down. And that's what I thought was going to happen, is just constantly be ran down.
Yeah.
But once we left, he goes, are you sure you're okay with this? And I'm like, yeah, I finally feel at peace. And I think it was just taking that step over fear, to be obedient, to do what I'm supposed to. And then everything's worked out. Yeah, it's weird for me to make new friends because
Right.
I'm in my mid-20s and I've had the same friends for the past 10 years.
Right.
But I think once I stepped over that fear, then it was just, all right, God's just kind of taking step by step with me.
Yeah. That's what faith is. Faith is literally stepping past your fear. And then, as I talked about tonight, when you get on the other side, he starts explaining.
Yep.
Doesn't explain before.
Yep.
It was not until you obeyed that then he starts showing you.
Yep.
Really, he starts opening the kingdom to you.
Yeah.
That's what he begins to do.
And we've talked a lot, like now I see the behind the scenes
Yeah.
of the things that everybody
didn't see before.
Everybody was sitting there like nagging at me like, hey, Mackenzie, don't you see this? Open up. And I'm like, I think you're oblivious to this stuff.
Yeah.
When really it was just me, I didn't want to see the things that people were telling me.
Well, that could be, but I also believe God blinds our eyes in some situations so that we don't get hurt.
Yeah.
I do. I believe he actually blinds our eyes so we don't see all the things going on. But once he calls us to obey him, when we get on the other side of obedience and his hand of protection is on us, then he begins to open our eyes.
Yep.
And we can handle it on that other side. We couldn't have handled it before.
Mm-hmm.
So even the opening of our eyes is his goodness and grace along the way.
Yeah.
So, again, obedience.
Yeah.
On the other side of obedience, there's many things
Yeah.
that you begin to see and understand, and you're like, oh my goodness, I did not know.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
No.
And it isn't because you're dumb. It isn't because you couldn't see. He literally had your eyes blind.
Yeah.
And he's done that to me on more than one occasion. I had a situation happen. I got to be careful here. Had a situation happen here in our district. I was in a role administratively and worked with our district superintendent for quite some time in helping do behind-the-scenes management of events and things the superintendent wanted. A lot of work. But I thought I had garnered the favor of men. And the whole time, my eyes were blinded to the fact they couldn't stand my guts. But I didn't know that till I was out of the role. And then God turned the tide and let me see. In fact, he did more than that. He let me hear what some of them were saying. And when I heard what they were saying, I was stunned. And they'd been saying it the whole time. I just didn't know it. So he kept me blind while I was in the role, so I'd continue to do the job. Yeah. And when it came to the end, he let me see. And I'll tell you why he let me see. Now that I'm on the other side of it, I can tell you why he let me see. So that I wouldn't get caught up in that game. And because they were pulling me in. It's amazing.
Thanks for tuning in to the HV Church podcast. We hope this episode encouraged and inspired you in your walk with God. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and feel free to share this podcast with a friend or family member who might need to hear it. If you want to learn more about HV Church or connect with us, visit hvchurch.com or follow us on our social media pages. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.